This is Rob Stone from Fox Sports.
Hey guys, this is Cole Liker.
Hi, I'm Neil Collins.
You are listening to the Unused Substitute.
The Unused Substitute.
And you're listening to the Unused Substitutes.
Get off the bench!
Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood, I got a problem and it's complicated. Going through case and I just can't ignore the signs. There and now it's so loud it hurts. Hear me growl, hear me howl when the full moon
on throw, ball gonna bounce down and spring in the box. Bicycle kick! Goal! Rowdies! What a play! What a shot! And it's 1-0 Rowdies!
Good evening, everybody. It's Wednesday night. It's is it Wednesday night, Dan?
Yes.
I'm totally lost at this point. This whole 1 hour thing has thrown me off.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Can you verify? Okay.
But it is
That's
Wednesday.
kind of my dude. Okay. It is Wednesday night. It's 9:00. We're doing well, for people my age, this would be Unused Substitutes After Dark, I guess. You are listening to the Unused Substitutes live on Radio St. Pete, part of the Beautiful Game Network, and sponsored by Roughneck Scarves. My name is Dan. Wow. Wow.
You are all out of sorts.
It's been an interesting couple days.
Yes, it has.
We'll get to that later on. My name is Matt, and as I usually do at this point, I check to make sure Dan's there, but I've already done this, and spoiler alert, I always know that he's there because he always is. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, buddy, I'm tired, but doing all right.
Yeah, until you found out that I was stealing your name. We got some identity theft going on here.
I know. I didn't think it was going to be that obvious when it happened, but I'm glad we found out early.
Ooh, that reminds me. Did you see that thing I tweeted about Nashville man the other day?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, so did you see the story about Florida man who gets out of jail for stealing cars, and then he's caught 5 minutes later breaking into cars in the parking lot at the jail?
Yeah.
All right, so there was a Nashville account out there somewhere that said, can we just kick Florida out of the union? And I said, let me see what happens, because I'm not trying to defend Florida man. I, in fact, have told my students at one point that I actually am a superhero named Florida man. Look it up and see all the stuff I've done. I've gotten some interesting looks after that one. But I just wanted to see what Nashville man was known for. And the one I clicked on was Nashville man was arrested for identity theft, and he was keeping people's IDs in his fanny pack.
That's a good.
That might not sound too crazy, but when you click on the article, this guy has, it appears, gone through several rounds of plastic surgery in order to look like a Ken doll.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas!
But he also has gauges.
Oh, Jiminy.
So, say what you want about Florida man, at least this guy, looked normal, for what passes for normal for Florida man.
Yeah, we have, we have a standard we have to meet.
I mean, I guess everybody's got their own version, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I know, some background. It's because Florida's laws about crime and whatnot are so open, so that's why you hear more Florida man stories than anything else.
Well, and because, all our criminals get elected to statewide office.
Or Port Richey.
Usually while they're wearing, furry costumes.
Yeah. Oh, Jim. Oh, man, that's my home.
Oh. All right, let's hop into it. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, including leading off, as we always do, eventually getting to the soccer. The Rowdies won 4-0 on Saturday. You weren't there, were you, Dan?
No, and I actually didn't get the chance to watch the game because I've been busy since Saturday. But I, watched the highlights and saw the tweets, and that's the kind of performance you expect, especially against a team like Hartford.
So when I miss a game, sometimes, and I'll see the result later, I'll go back and I kind of watch, a little bit before and after the goals. I rarely kind of go back and watch unless something really weird happens or really, something I need to see happens. If you get a chance to go back and watch this, and I recommend it because it was a very good game. Definitely watch from the very, I know we scored, 30 something, 36, 37 minutes into the first half. Watch the whole game though, because the style, everything we've been talking about and mentioning was happening. I mean, there was some great runs, players without the ball making moves. There was some kind of like one touch play, some pass and move kind of stuff. I mean, it was some great stuff they were playing on Saturday night.
So what you're saying is what you're saying is we might actually know what we're talking about.
I'm not going to go that far.
Okay, I was just checking.
I'm not going to go that far. It could have been lucky. By the way, I think I said 3-0 last week.
Maybe, yeah.
Didn't we used to write this down so we'd remember?
Yeah, yeah. We used to actually keep track, and then
one day.
We used to be a lot more organized.
We used to be a lot of other things. I think I said 3-0. So 4-0. The first half, Seba gets a goal, and after having a couple chances, and it really started to feel a little bit like we were never really worried or bothered by Hartford. They had a little spell of possession in the beginning of the second half that looked pretty good in. But we had a couple chances in the first half and a couple shots that didn't go in. For a minute, you kind of get that vibe like, oh, it's gonna be like that, because it'd be like that sometimes. But after the first goal, it was one of those. I kind of got the feeling there's a lot more coming, and good Lord, the second half was insane. So Sebastian Guenzatti gets a brace.
Yeah.
Fernandes has 2 assists. David Najem, beautiful little man. We're going to hear some more from him in a little bit.
With a minute, like his return, right? Like within a minute of coming on.
Yeah, he subs on. Sean Barry, believe, cramped up and came off, and they put Naj on for the last 30 minutes or so. And I mean, under a minute, just over a minute in, a deflected shot lands just right in front of him. Hartford's keeper is on the deck, and he just powers it right into the net. And then, gosh, it's kind of hard to keep track here. Who had the last goal? My brain's losing. I gotta go look up the actual stats and see. Hang on here 1 second. There's so many goals I can't even keep track, even with the whole entire internet in front of me. The ever quickly loading USL website.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I remember reading.
All right, Tenari.
Yeah.
He got his goal. Guenzatti in the 37th and the 78th minute gets subbed off so we can get a nice little applause in the 80th. Naj comes on 57th, scores in the 58th. Tenari wraps it up in the 71st with a goal. And again, like we said, 2 assists for Leo Fernandes. It's if you didn't have a great time at the scoreless draw last week, you had a hell of a good time this weekend. And it was a smaller crowd, which we all I think we saw it coming. Second game of a homestand. It's Hartford. The only real draw to this maybe locally besides the Rowdies is that Kyle Karinga was coming back, started for Hartford, played the full 90 minutes. But yeah, I mean, this was a team that, this is what we thought we should do to this team. 64% possession, still not doing great on the duels. 47.1% duel success rate. Aerial duels, 35.9%. And I noticed this during the game. We keep getting into this habit of trying to to cross it into a guy from wide, but all the guys we put in front of the goal are significantly shorter than the center backs and the back line defending him. 14 interceptions, only one offside, 12 corners to 4 for Hartford.
I was going to say, how many did Hartford have?
Do what?
I was going to ask how many Hartford had.
Yeah, like 4. 84% passing accuracy, 77% in the opponent's half, 35 crosses, 20% crossing accuracy. Hartford spent a lot of time packing guys in deep, giving the Rowdies the ball, letting them kind of move it around at will, and then trying to get a stop or a deflection. But man, it was fun, and you kind of want to look at this and say, all right, they've put it together. This is what we've been waiting for, and I don't want to discourage that because I had a whole lot of fun Saturday night, but also it was Hartford. Right. They've got a very good coach. Jimmy Nielsen, Oklahoma City FC's or OKC Energy. I keep conflating them with the NASL club. They've got a really good coach. They've got talented, experienced players. It just hasn't come together for him just yet, and I was glad to see that it didn't on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think this coming Saturday is going to be a bit more of a test. I mean, not that Louisville has been playing great, but they're still, back-to-back champs. They've had, coaching change in the middle of last season and still were able to pull it off. So there's still there'll always be a threat because, that's a solid roster, solid team. And but we took care of business against Hartford, those are the games you expect to win, and you expect to win, by a decent margin. And they did. That's something that's important. And, I said it early on that the opening part of the schedule was very favorable to the Rowdies, and they seem, other than the Loudoun game, they seem to be doing exactly what they need to be doing.
I guess I need to do the whole good, bad, ugly myself, right?
Yeah, because I mean, the good is we won. My good is we won 4-0, and then the bad and the ugly is the fact that I haven't been able to watch the game. Yeah,
there's man, it's Naj gets a lot of press because of the comeback, and rightfully so. Guenzatti gets a lot of talk this week, and him and Leo made the team of the week. Najem was in the was like honorable mention for what they did. But man, Tenari scores. Jan Ekra, and I'll pull up his info. I mean, Jan Ekra started and had a monster game. He's really kind of overshadowed by the goal scores and the Najem return story. But Jan Ekra had a heck of a night. Let me see if I can pull this up here. It was on the three things as far as the actual stats, but watching the game, he was so impressive in midfield. I'm just going to read off the Rowdies release here. He goes about it quietly, but Rowdies midfielder Jan Ekra has put in consistently great performances this year. Yet to record either a goal or assist, but he's one of the key players in just about everything Tampa Bay has done this season. He just seems to win the ball in every single 50-50 and has proven nearly impossible for opponents to take the ball off of. His passing game is reliable, completed 88% of his passes against Hartford, and he has the vision to make chances for the Rowdies. Najem's goal came from a stellar Ekra effort to muscle past a pair of defenders before playing a perfect – all right, Mike, with the alliteration here. Past a pair of defenders before playing a perfect pass to fellow Frenchman Antoine Hoppeneau. It was Hoppeneau's save shot that Najem put back in for the goal. It was also Ekra's pass that put Leo Fernandes in position to cross for the Rowdies' first goal. Like I said, he won 88%, completed 88% of his passes while winning 82% of his duels and 100% of his aerial duels. 2 key passes to set up scoring chances and 1 possession 10 times for Tampa Bay. I don't think he got on the poll for man of the match that the Rowdies do on Twitter, but I think he's you can't, like I said, didn't have a goal or an assist, didn't have the great comeback story, but you can't argue with numbers like that as far as being a man of the match, caliber contender.
Yeah, I mean, he's like they said in 3 things, he's been solid all year, and he's versatile too, right? Like he played more he played against Loudoun more of a holding role with getting a little bit forward. in the second half when he came on for Damaduro. So he's versatile. He's got the experience. He's the second oldest player on the roster, I think.
I want to say so. Yeah, I think
behind Konopka. So that experience is what this team needs in the midfield, especially. And he's showing that he's, not everyone probably really heard of him, even though he's been around the league a little bit. But he's shown his worth. That he's a huge pickup this year.
Yeah. So a couple of things real quick while we're talking. We're keeping our eyes on a couple games going on right now. Atlanta United 2 is leading Memphis 901 FC 1-0 at halftime in Memphis. Also, Tampa Win Cup is still in full effect. The Blue Jackets have just scored.
So it's 3-2. Womp womp.
3-2, 12:04 in the third period. So we're keeping an eye on that for you. We'll throw out updates out there as needed. The other good thing, so I was late getting there. It was a weird Saturday. I actually for a little while wasn't sure if I was going to make it up there. But every now and then I have those games where I feel like, maybe I'm going to sit this one out and I'll watch it on TV or something. But whenever I have that feeling and then I end up going, it ends up being a good game, and that's what it turned into. But I got there kind of right at between 6:30 when they opened the stadium up, so I went in for the half-price drafts. In the Bayshore Lounge area, which was only at 6:30. It was from 6:30 till kickoff. So I can confirm that half off drafts taste twice as good, especially the Big Storm Bay beer, the new Lightning beer they had out there. So I had that. Then I wandered over the other side of the field, tried finally got to try one of the new food trucks. Hit up the was it the grilled cheese truck? Man. I hope they keep that one inside the stadium for a little while because I know they rotate them, but that was really good. Still out there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're over here tweeting with the Louisville people. Yeah. I'm glad to see that because I knew that they had a lot of injuries, but I didn't know what they were. All right, so we'll throw that in. We do our preview. Thanks to our, we have a guy from Cincinnati that's basically a Rowdies fan. Are we going to start counting Patrick is one of ours too?
Yeah, he's a quiet Rowdies fan over here,
feeding us the inside info.
Yeah.
Other than that, there was the only thing I was going to possibly classify under bad was I got a little nervous when Sean Barry subbed off in the 58th. He was on the floor on the floor for a little while, got up, walked off unassisted. With his pass, you hate to see. It always is like in your head. I think they mentioned that in the Najem article, like every time something happens or that something feels wrong, like you worry about it. From what I heard, it was just cramps and he's fine. So I won't even bother calling that bad. There wasn't really any bad. I mean, it would be nice to see a bigger crowd, but not surprised by the one. I mean, it definitely sounded fun. We had a good time there anyway. But we need a bigger crowd this weekend for Louisville coming in. Like there's a difference between bottom of the table Hartford and, Louisville's, I think, just in the top 10, but they're still Louisville. So I think we'll see a better crowd this weekend. We'll have some fun and nothing on the ugly side. I mean, it was good.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
All right. Man of the match. And this is going to be tricky because of all the possibilities. But just based on what you've heard, what you've seen, who would you go with?
I mean, I have to go with Naj just because of the story. Sometimes I can be sentimental.
I'm gonna go with you on this one too. I went down afterwards and talked to the players for a little while, and it was, man, there was a lot. It was like, who do we ask for? Because we usually get like two players and Neil. I learned real quick, don't ask Neil anything about last year.
Yeah,
he does not want. He's not here for it. I thought I might not be here for it after the look I got, and the reason was because last year, almost exactly a year ago, the Rowdies won 5-0 over Ottawa, and then turned around the next week, went to New York Red Bull 2, dropped those 5 goals right back to them, and then that was kind of the start of all the troubles last year. Neil said, "We don't have to talk about that. This is a whole new team." And I said, "Okay, that's fair."
I mean, he's right.
But the moral of the story was, don't get too hung up on the highs because stuff happens. But Naj is one of the guys we talked to for the interview. And I, put some stuff out there on Twitter. But I mean, literally, the guy's grin was a mile long. He could not stop grinning. He was. I don't know if you've got go back when you get a chance to listen to the audio. I'm just about shouting my question at him because just watching him has me so hyped up for him. It was incredible. All the work he's done, all the work the training staff, the medical staff has done to get him back and get him going was just absolutely amazing. So I'm going to throw it to Naj too.
Good.
All right, let's take a look what the Eastern Conference looks like. And if we get any more info on Atlanta and Memphis, we'll toss that in there. They're underway about 10 minutes in the second half. All right, so where are we at here? Our current Eastern Conference standings. St. Louis FC, they won on Saturday as well, 2-0 over Atlanta United 2, so they still are on top of the table with 13 points. Rowdies just behind with 11. Third place, North Carolina FC, who has only played 4 games, have 8 points. Charleston Battery, 4 games with 8 points. Nashville SC, 4 games with 7 points. Red Bull 2, 3 games and 7 points. So they haven't played a lot, but they're doing pretty well so far. Bethlehem Steel FC, 5 games, 7 points. Same for Atlanta United 2, although that's factoring in tonight's in progress game as well. Indy 11, 3 games, 6 points. Louisville City, our opponent this week, sitting in 10th, 5 games, 6 points. -3 goal differential.
Ouch.
We're going to talk about them later, but it's Hartford has the most at -9. Charlotte's right behind them, -4, and then Swope and Louisville with -3. Rowdies are currently sitting at +7. A 4-0 win over Hartford doesn't hurt. The rest of the table, Pittsburgh, 4 games, 5 points, 11th place. Memphis playing their conference-leading 6th game right now and sitting on 5 points. Ottawa Fury, 3 games, 4 points. Birmingham, 3 games, 3 points. Loudoun United, 3 games, 2 points for 15th place. Swope Park, 3 games and 1 point. Charlotte, 4 games and 1 point. And Hartford, 5 games, 5 losses. -9 on the goal difference, 0 points overall.
Womp, womp, womp.
Stinks, especially they don't play. We said it last week. They don't play a home game till May 3rd. I mean, they've got fans out there. We've chatted with them a little bit, but kind of stinks for this to happen. Them have to wait that long and going to be coming in not exactly on the best run, but I'm glad for it last weekend at least.
Sorry, the Blue Jackets just tied it up with a shorthanded goal.
Shorthanded too.
Yep.
Well, this is what we get for doing a show during it. Is this our fault? Are we going to get the blame for this?
Yeah, might as well.
I just got a tweet saying that I jinxed this. It's entirely possible. All right, so let's do a little preview of Louisville City. Last year they were 19-9-6, good enough for second place in the Eastern Conference behind Cincinnati, and as we all know, won their second consecutive USL Cup. This year so far, 2 wins, no draws, 3 losses. Currently sitting, when I typed this up, it was 9th. Now they're currently sitting 10th in the live table. Lost a couple key players from last year's team, including goalkeeper Greg Ranjit Singh and leading scorer, I think, didn't he win the Golden Boot last year, Cameron Lancaster?
Yep.
Had 25 in the league, 28 overall for Louisville. Brought in a couple names. The one that's going to stick out to Rowdies fans the most is Lucky Kosana. Be nice to see him back at Al Lang. Another name they brought in mid-year last year that is definitely going to be familiar to soccer fans around the area is their new head coach, John Hackworth. Going to have a little welcome back hack this weekend. Hackworth's son played for Rowdies. It was either when they were Rowdies 2 or Rowdies U23. I forget which one, but played for a season there. Hackworth grew up in Dunedin, around where I used to live, actually, when I was a kid. Going to Rowdies games. We've posted the picture out there of him in his Rowdies gear just to try and stir things up a little bit. USL took that and wrote an article out. This is his first trip to Tampa Bay. as the head coach of an opposing team. So, we've been doing the BGN Cup.
Yeah.
I'm starting at another one here, but it's the Bay Area Coaches Cup, because you've got Neil Collins living not too far from me in Lakewood Ranch. You've got John Hackworth from Dunedin, Florida. Used to spend a lot of time in Bradenton. He was coach at U17 coach at IMG for the U.S. residency team. And then you've got Memphis's Tim Mulqueen, who actually used to coach boys basketball at a private school here and was like an associate athletic director. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure his family still lives in the area. So we're going to keep like a running cup like total this year, who wins the Bay Area Coaches Cup. I think Neil's on top right now, 3 points with the win over Memphis. We'll see if he can get some more this weekend. Patrick said we can count him as a fan. We're good. All right. So thanks to Patrick, who I believe is going to be here this weekend.
Yes.
Follow him on Twitter, PattyIce3. Not only they've lost a bunch of players, they're off to a rough start, but they also have the injury list that we kind of had middle to late last year. Some of the players: Brian Ownby, Paolo DiPiccolo, Chris Hubbard, Richie Ballard, Sonny Jane, Luke Spencer, George Davis. I'm not going to profess to know all these guys, but some of the names are familiar, that they are kind of key players for this team. Guys like Luke Spencer, George Davis, and I want to say Brian Ownby. I know they've got they brought a goalkeeper in earlier in the season on loan from Cincy, and I believe I saw that they've signed an academy player. It feels like this is, like I said, I asked Neil about this. We always seems like we go to Louisville early the last 2 seasons, and now they're coming here. They're off to a rough start. They've got some injuries. It feels like this is a good time to get them. It's still Louisville. They're still the 2-time defending champions. I don't care what the record says. I don't care what the injuries are. They're a good team. They're not going to be, I don't see them being in 9th or 10th at the end of the season. I think they're going to improve on that. This is still, I know Hackworth said it's kind of nice going to the weekend and not being the favorite for once, that he's viewing them as the underdog. You're the 2-time champ until you're not. So, there's a lot of other stuff going on. To me, it's still Louisville. It's still a big game. It's still going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah. Patrick just said of the 6 goals they've scored, 2 have been own goals. So it's really 4 goals scored, 9 given up. And 4
of the injured are regular full 90-minute starters.
Yep. So they're in a tough spot.
I don't care. I'm not getting my hopes up yet. It's still Louisville, and we've had some rough times with them. I think we've only beaten them once in the league, right?
I think so. Yeah.
We lost the first year. We lost when we went there. Then we beat them when they came here the first year, and then I think we lost both games to them last year.
It wouldn't shock me.
I'll have to look it up and see. I know we lost the one there.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me. Last year, I don't like to talk about.
You're going to take the Neil approach?
Yeah, it never happened.
All right, I don't blame you. Both teams are 5 games in, so I know it's still a little early in season, but I'm going to pull up some of the side-by-side stats and compare them. On attack, the Rowdies have 2 more goals, 3 more shots on target, 20% higher shooting accuracy, 32.7 for Louisville, 52.5 for the Rowdies, 11% conversion rate to 20. Both teams have 3 assists. Defensively, where we've been really good, and they seem to have been leaking in some goals. I don't know if that's a defensive problem or if that's a goalkeeper problem or a little bit of both. 5 games, we've conceded 1 goal. They've conceded 9. They have 1 clean sheet. We have 4. They've faced twice as many shots. They've won a few more tackles, 54 to 47. A little bit better in tackle success rate. So defensively, they seem pretty strong, except for letting the goals thing in. We've actually won more duels, which doesn't seem to be our specialty this year. So maybe that's going to be something that's going to help us out in this game. Distribution-wise, they've connected more passes, pretty much equal passing accuracy. A few more successful crosses than us, 18 to 12. Crossing accuracy is about the same, 19.6 to 18.2%. We've had about almost twice as many successful dribbles. And foul-wise, we've won a few more. We've conceded a few more, about equal on the yellow cards. A lot of these areas are pretty equal. Oh, man, is Columbus leading now?
Yeah, I was getting away for you to finish to say that Columbus just took the lead.
All right, 5 minutes. Still time for the Lightning to score like 6 more goals. Yeah. There's a lot of these stats, man, and it's hard to read a whole lot into it because, like we said, it's early in the season where these areas match up. I've seen some predictions from the USL writers that given the injuries, given the way Tampa Bay's played at home, that they may just try to pack it in defensively and try and keep this scoreless. Hartford tried to do that, and I mean that's what we've seen work against the Rowdies is making us try to unlock the defense. They were able to do it last week. I think Louisville's going to have a slightly more experienced offense, even with some of the reserve guys, so could be a little bit more of an issue. You got any feelings about the game?
A little nervous, but less so than normal because Neil Collins seems to have this team prepared, and we have the depth and the ability to take it to a team like a team like Louisville that's going through the stuff, injuries and identity crisis of sorts. So as long as we play like we did this past Saturday, we'll be fine.
You going to make a prediction?
No. I'm not risking it this time.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
2-1 Rowdies.
I'll take it.
I'm thinking, 2-1.
Okay.
All right, there apparently is going to be a sizable Louisville crowd coming down, which is fun. It's nice to get some away visitors in. We'll be out there in the parking lot tailgating with Skyway guys. They'll be over at Mob will be over at Thirsty First doing their thing. So meet up with someone somewhere. Let's have some fun. Let's go win the game. Let's say hi to Lucky.
Yeah.
Does Lucky get a who are you, do you think?
Probably. It's been so long.
I think so. It's been a couple years. I think he gets one. I don't have a problem with it. Karinga got one.
Yeah, well, poor kid got hurt, and then so
I know. To me, it was like we're there for one season and left, and I was like, yeah. But the injuries, I don't know. I don't think I would have done it, but they did anyway. Any other things throw out there about that game?
No, let's just get the job done.
Are we still getting the bike done, or is that
no?
retired
Because
like the
we had to retire that because it did not go well. we took the bike.
You got Leo with the OK sign. You've got Dan locking down the bike references. There's other retirement. There's just retirements all over the place. Anything else we need to put out there for this stuff then, or do we need to cut to the end?
I think we should go to the interview and things.
Oh, I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to set up the We Love Yous and everything else.
Right.
We still got to listen to Naj. All right. Jake had a chance to talk with David Najem earlier, yesterday I think it was. So kick back for the next 13, 14 minutes as the Lightning get ready to tie this up, send it to overtime where they'll win, and listen to David Najem. You will hear him smiling, I promise. I haven't even listened to the audio yet. You'll hear him smiling, I can guarantee it.
Hey, David.
Hey, how are you? How's everything?
Great, man. How you doing?
All good. Can't complain. Solid session today. Feeling good.
Oh, yeah. Good, yeah. Yeah, so it was a pretty eventful weekend for you.
Oh, it was incredible. Couldn't have scripted it any better, to be honest. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure when you got back access to your phone Saturday night and even Sunday morning, your phone was blowing up with messages too.
It was nonstop, honestly. Just some of the nicest messages I've ever received in my life. Just from old friends, old teammates, just coaches, literally everyone, just sending me great messages. It was such an incredible feeling, so warm. Yeah, they it's just the support is endless from them, and it's such a great feeling just to do that for them as well.
Yeah, I know. I was watching the broadcast on ESPN Plus, and I was just, even I could feel it on the broadcast, just the way everyone surrounded you and everything, and just the Ralph's mob, and like everyone knew how much it meant to you to get back on the field. And that you're we only saw you for a few games last year, but you were just in that little short sprint. I mean, you were one of the guys that everyone was so excited to see. So it was such a great feeling to see you back out there, and obviously get the goal too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been a longer term for sure. So antsy just to get back on the field, and some people have asked me, were you waiting for the first game, or was preseason your official comeback? But I really do think it was just like the first official game at Lang again. That was such a monumental return. I think that's what I've been waiting for so long. Ever since the injury. I even got hurt on the road back at home, so I was just really excited to get back and play in front of the fans and everyone who's been so supportive for me back here. And what an incredible feeling to be back home, just putting the jersey back on, getting something off the sideline, and Neil just giving me all the confidence in the world just to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll be fine. And then a minute later, a ball sits up for me so nicely, and I just smack it into the net. Honestly, it was just incredible, and I didn't know what to do from there. People have asked me what's going on through my head at that moment, and honestly, I just made sure the ball went in. I made sure the net was moving, and then I just turned and saw Leo's face, Seba's face, Pape's face, just everyone just going crazy, and I didn't know what to do. I just sprinted as fast as I could. I was joking around with the guys. That's probably the hardest sprint I've ever run in a long time, just because I was so excited, and you could tell just from everyone's reactions and the faces and screaming. It was just so emotional for not only me but everyone around me, and it was such an incredible feeling. Having everyone there celebrate with me, that was the biggest thing for me. I just wanted them to be a part of that more than anything, and I'm so happy everyone was there to celebrate with me, and I'm so happy it was at home as well for the fans to experience.
Yeah, so I was watching the build up to the goal a little while ago before we got on the phone, and I was trying to figure out that was your first touch too, right? The shot?
It was. Yeah, once I got subbed in for Sean, the ball was played back, and we didn't really have a spell of possession for me to get a touch on, so I just ran forward, made a supporting run. I was hoping to get slipped in on that play, but Jan played a great ball to Hops, and Hops, it was just out of his reach, but he still made contact. The goalie made a good save, and it was just me just following up on my run that I was hoping to get the ball on, and just it might have shifted me over a couple steps to my left, but it was still on my run forward to the goal, so I adjusted like ever so slightly and just had to tap it in, really, just smack it back from where it came from, and it just found the net.
Yeah, man. So, talk about confidence coming back, just blasting it right away.
Yeah. There's not much to think about. It was there, and it's everything I've trained for, and just the warm ups, exactly what we were doing. So it was a perfect setup for me. Yeah,
it was. The substitution seemed like it came pretty quick too. Did you have any time to think, or was it just like, hey, get your warm up shirt off, get ready to go? Because it came pretty quick. You just came in right away.
Yeah, they gave me a little heads up. I want to say around maybe the 50th minute. So I still thought, there'd be 10, 15 minutes, but the staff has us well prepared for any change. So I was for sure ready. I just thought maybe it'd be a little while longer. But when they held up my jersey and called me over, I was buzzing. That's when the adrenaline really started to kick in. Everything was sort of coming to fruition at that point. And then it was just like any pregame, the jersey comes on, the shin guards come on. I get the last little bit of instructions from our assistant coaches, and the last little confidence boost from Neil, and off I go, and it was like I never left, like I never got hurt at all. It was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I heard the celebration on the sidelines with the the training staff and the coaching staff, and everyone was just as intense as it was on the field. I mean, I imagine it's got to mean a lot for the training staff just to see you get back out there full force. I mean, what do they mean to you, and what kind of how important was their just their work in helping you get back on the field?
Absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today, or it could have been much longer for an injury like this. So they just took such great care of me, and I put all my faith and trust into their hands because they're just so incredible with what they do. The training staff, everyone's just on the same page. Everyone knows exactly what's going on and where I'm at and what I'm feeling. Missy and Andrew, they started up in the training room, but they're just so communicative with me and the coaches as well. So they were just super professional with the return, and they wanted to make sure everything was done right. And it was a marathon, for me especially. So even though we were playing Memphis on the first game against my brother, it would have been great, but honestly, there was no point to rush it. Everyone wanted to make sure I was ready for that moment, and it paid huge dividends, obviously, because of this return was absolutely worth it.
Have you ever had an injury like this before? Any kind of long-term injury like this before?
Oh no, I had a few, maybe like ankle sprains that left me a couple weeks out, but nothing so serious. This is my first surgery on the knee from last season. Yeah, it's almost a year to this day, April 14th, so just about maybe a week off.
All right. So this is kind of just like it was a whole new experience for you then.
Absolutely, yeah, and I did my research. I talked to a bunch of older teammates who've been through it, but you can't really prepare for it. You hear the stories and you make the plan, but everyone's bodies are different, so no matter how much preparation and how much work you want to do, you really have to listen to your own body. And I think that's what I really got out of the entire process, just being patient, listening to your own body, not rushing anything, because everyone is different. They could give you one timetable. Someone does a little faster, someone does a little slower, but as long as you're 100% back on the field, fully fit, that's the only thing that matters. So an absolutely new process, but I just got to learn my own body better than I've ever known it before.
Yeah, I believe Seba had a very similar injury when he was with the Cosmos too. And
right.
You could see on his face how excited he was for you.
Yeah, absolutely. He was one of the first guys in the locker room in New York when it happened. He saw the look on my face, and he was just very emotional about it too, because he knew exactly what I was going through. But he's always the first one, coming up to me when I was going through my rehab and therapy, and he was asking, what I'm feeling and how that's normal. Any questions I had. It was so easy just to go to him, and he was so welcoming with anything. Anytime I needed a call, a text, he was there for me. So he's one of the guys I definitely leaned on throughout this process, just because he's been through it before, and it was just nice to have him in my corner and in the locker room at any point.
So you're one of the guys who is a holdover from last year. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on just kind of the makeup of this group that you guys have now. What do you think of the group that you guys have assembled so far? Just the atmosphere in the locker room. I mean, guys are off to a pretty good start. I mean, but it feels like a brand new team, like a whole. It's not an expansion team, but it's kind of almost an expansion team. It's like almost a brand new roster. So what do you make of this group?
Right. I think it's been very great. Honestly, it's been interesting to see the transition, but I think Neil and the coaching staff, they knew exactly what they wanted, and they knew the direction they wanted to go. So, they're working endlessly, and so many hours with Lee, Neil, and the coaching staff to get the team that we have assembled today. So that's loads of preparation on their parts, and now it's just us implementing everything that they wanted to happen on the field. And we're just very well prepared, and I think everything is starting to make sense now that we have these games and we're getting minutes to kind of work with each other and figure out these last little bits. But very hot start to the season, obviously. But what an exciting group, what a hardworking, talented group, and we're gonna put in the work. I think we're an exciting team to watch. We're never gonna let anything up easy. 4 shutouts in 5 games now. I think that speaks to our grit and our desire to not give up anything easily on the defensive end. And I think the attackers do that super well too. Our attackers, they want to defend, they want to work, and they know they're going to be rewarded on the other end. And we have 4 great goals, but at the end of the day, we were solid, very solid defensively, which allowed us to do that and get forward. So I think everyone will see just a very well-balanced team that is willing to work for each other, working hard, and guys from 1 to 18, whoever's in the 18 on that weekend will be ready, and ready to make a difference if their name gets called.
Yeah, I can already see that grit on the field just in these first few games, definitely for sure. All right, David. Like I said, man, just so happy to see you back out there and smiling and doing your thing. I was actually at the game in New York when you got hurt, and it was just heartbreaking. It was brutal. You knew right away it was serious, and then just the team just went kind of downward spiral after that. I mean, so it feels just nice to have you back out there doing your thing. I mean, it's kind of like just a full rebound from last year to know that you're back healthy and ready to go. So just so excited to see what you got ahead of you this year.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it really means a lot. Everyone's been so supportive, and it really does mean a lot. I'm excited to be back with the team. Getting on the field was an experience in itself, and then the goal and just the atmosphere around that was an incredible cherry on top. It was such a great experience, and I'm excited to have plenty more of those this season with the team and with the fans.
All right, David. Thanks a lot for your time, and hopefully we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And that.
All right. Thanks to. Did I cut you off?
No, you're good. I didn't know if you were there, so I wasn't going to let the dead air happen.
Thanks to Jake for sitting down with David. Thanks for David for sitting down with Jake too. Did I tell you could hear him smiling?
Yeah. I mean,
you absolutely could.
That man, even like through his rehab and everything, was always smiling. He's a good guy.
We won't mention the end of the Lightning game, but I am now watching the last 9-10 minutes or so of the Memphis Atlanta game. Still 1-0 Atlanta at this point. And I noticed this is just off on a tangent for a second. So Memphis is playing in a I guess it's still a functional baseball stadium as well. But they kind of have that, one big stand like we've got at Al Lang. But they do this interesting thing, and I saw it for the first game. I didn't know if that was something they were doing just for that, or if this was a thing they're going to keep doing. Where it curves around like behind where home plate would be?
Yeah.
They block. They got those like tarped over, so it kind of creates a separate like side stand behind the goal stand kind of feeling or look at least. I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of people out there like on the berm and everything. You think they would want to try and sell those seats, but at the same time, they're kind of making it look like a typical soccer presentation. Maybe, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think you'd want to sell those seats, but maybe they can't, and it's the best way to do it right now.
I also think their stand's a lot bigger than what we've got. I think their stadium can hold up to like 10,000 or something like that.
Well, then yeah, they're not probably missing out on anything.
Yeah, it's kind of a good look at least. Yeah, I'm still so excited. And he talked with them yesterday, so it's like 3 days after the game. He's still on cloud 9. You can hear it in his voice. It should be.
Yeah, definitely. He should. I mean, he deserves it. And coming back from an injury like that, and then scoring within the first minute of being back on the pitch is just magic.
So here's a question: does he start this weekend?
I mean, I don't know. Depends if you want to rest.
Or is
Sean
he still
Barry.
working himself back into shape, do you think?
I mean, it's not like he couldn't do like 60 and then Sean Barry for 30. You know what I mean? Like this team is deep.
Right.
So I think you can go either way, or Sean Barry for 60, 70, and then Naj for the last bit, work him back in.
All right, so that we've got Louisville at home on Saturday night, and do you know about the Sunday morning game?
I think I saw something about that.
My new local League Two club, the Sarasota Metropolis FC, are playing at 9:30 Saturday morning, playing the Rowdies at Al Lang at 9:30 Sunday morning. Obviously, it's going to be like the reserves and the subs that didn't play the night before or something. Maybe some of the TBU kids get a couple minutes in or something. Free for everybody. So if you want to come up and see more Rowdies or take a look at what Sarasota is going to be having on the field this year, come on out. I'm seriously thinking, because my wife and daughter are going to be out of town, or not out of town, but like occupied most of the day, and they're going to be up in Tampa on Saturday night, and they're going to stay at my wife's mom's place that night. Like, I'm kind of tossing the idea around of finding a hotel in St. Pete and just going to both games.
Do it. I mean, I'm not going to be there, and I'm not going to drive back to back down to St. Pete, but do it.
Are you going to be there Saturday though?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there Saturday.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go into our wrap up. We do have one more thing to mention first. Are you still listening to a ton of other podcasts?
I'm not listening to too many. I don't have time.
I gotta tell. I don't even really rarely listen to the radio in the car anymore. Like I've got some for the morning. I've got some like when I'm in my classroom in the morning, because I'm there like an hour before school starts, and I've got my planning time during the day, and I'm usually there like an hour or so after school. So I listen to a ton. It's partially one of the reasons is to like not necessarily steal ideas, but get ideas for stuff to do on the show. So there's one I listen to called the Most Valuable Podcast, and it's two girls who work for for Sports Illustrated, SI.com, with their kind of weekly podcast about just sports in general. But they have a thing at the end called Unprotected Segs, which I thought was pretty funny. First off, but then like they have these like little random like mini segments they throw in there, and one of them is personal news. And I want to tip my hat to them, because I'm going to steal this, because we've got some personal news to share.
Oh man,
You've been dreading this, haven't you?
yeah, for a week, well, a few days now. Oh, okay. Well, I wanted to, I don't know. I think the best way to do it is just be blunt at first. Is after 5 years and pretty well, I'm going to go through for 200 shows. I'm going to have to take a back seat on this podcast. My life is getting a little crazy. I'll have some more personal news as we go forward, but I can't devote the time and energy right now needed for this. And as much as I love doing this week in and week out, and following the Rowdies, which I plan on still being at games as much as possible, but I'm gonna have to step away a little bit from doing this podcast. And I would like to, hopefully, we can find somebody to do this full time, and when I can, make an appearance, because I do love this show. But this hurts. This hurts. But
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I think and Jake saying we said no announcements, but I think we agreed, but right before the show, that this way it'll give us time to the 200th episode and whatnot to find somebody, if anybody wants to do it. So, I mean, we should say that if anybody has listened and supports the show and thinks they can contribute, reach out. But I'm not stepping away immediately. Tonight's not my last show, but things are a little crazy in life, and this is not the timing I wanted or anything like that. But
let's make it clear, crazy in a good way.
Yes, very good. Like, things are happening and whatnot, and but like, man, Jake just said he's not prepared to cry. Me neither. It's getting a little dusty in my house right now. But you guys, as fans of the show and fans of the Rowdies, deserve, two hosts that can devote all their time, the time needed, I should say, to this for just being able to watch games and be here on a regularly scheduled time. But man, it's been fun, and it's not goodbye tonight. So it's more, let's, please reach out if you would like, if you're interested in hosting, and we'll figure this out as we go.
You don't have to like poutine as much as Dan does. That's not a requirement.
I would recommend enjoying poutine a lot if you're going to take this spot.
So we've been talking about this for a little while now. This isn't like it's not like you're surprising me with this. So it's
this is rough.
I don't even there's a lot to try and sum up into a little bit of time, because we don't want to run all night. But again, it's not the end. We have the 200th episode coming up. We're making some big plans for it. It's actually it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
It's the Rowdies have a home game that night too. So we're working on some plans. We're putting some things in motion to make it be a good one. I'm just going to try and choose not to think about what's going to happen right now. I don't know. There's nothing I need to say to you right now that I haven't already said over the last few days.
I mean, it's
like I'm thrilled for you, but I'm also kind of bummed.
I'm excited.
And that's putting it extremely lightly.
It's bittersweet. Like, I mean, if I can continue to make this a downer segment, like, I've said it a couple of times before, but like we started this shortly, like a couple months after my dad died, as a way to help me distract me from all of that BS. And it continued. It seemed like a fun project, and we didn't really expect it to become anything that it has. And we found Jake and brought him on, and he's done an amazing job. And Jake found us. True.
In McDinton's. It's like, when you see those cars going around with the Who Rescued Who sticker, like, because they've got their, like, Jake totally rescued us.
That's true. And I mean, he's a huge part.
And continues to rescue us.
So, I mean, and now it's weird to have to, think about and plan to step away, because I didn't think I would. And like, it's weird that I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, and I'm rambling now, but, I mean, again, it's not the last show or my last show. So, and the podcast will definitely go on. We're not going to let me stepping away do anything like that, but we will find somebody who fits and can do this job hopefully better than I ever did. But it's rough. I didn't think when I typed out those messages to you guys, it was getting I was getting misty-eyed then. But here we are.
Well, on that note, we love you. Who you got?
I'm going to go with everyone that supported us, the team, and everything, just because I'm feeling super sentimental right now. And I mean, everybody who listens, and even if you don't listen and just interact on Twitter or whatever, you guys have made this very much worth it and fun. And when we started, I was pretty much a noob for to the Rowdies, and it couldn't have gone better. So thank you, everybody.
Well, I'm going to throw mine out to David Najem. Just
Good
thinking
call.
about him smiling just makes me smiling. And I guess I'm going to throw it out to you too, Dan.
Oh, I mean, again, it's not my last one yet, and I'm not prepared for it to be my last one, but we have to get there, unfortunately, soon. And again, we have to find somebody to fill this spot.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing this with somebody else. I'm starting to get dusty too. But we're gonna carry on.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years. It's been pretty much 5 years.
And you still have to get a tattoo if Steinberger gets a hat trick. You're not getting out of this.
Yes.
Don't think this is how you get out of it.
I mean, again, I'll still be around. I don't think it's fair to you, to Jake, and to listeners for me to either be constantly pushing podcast episodes back an hour or not being at games and being able to watch them. So I would like to, not be selfish and, and let somebody take over that can do those things.
All right. So if you'd like to, it feels weird doing all the end of show script stuff now. If you'd like to support the show on an ongoing basis and help us pay for a new host, you can go online to patreon.com/unusedsubspod. Maybe we didn't, I still haven't updated. Maybe we need to make a perk level where you can be a host. This is horrible. Oh, God. As always, if you leave us a rating and review, then Dan won't make any more announcements on future episodes. Thank you, as always, to our buddies Wolfface for the music, to Radio St. Pete for giving us the place to put this out on, and thank you to our sponsor, Roughneck Scarves, the official scarf supplier of MLS, USL, and US Soccer. Get custom scarves for your group or your team at roughneckscarves.com. You're not allowed to go anywhere if you don't play the music.
Oh yeah, I gotta do that.
Don't play the music.
It's not my last episode, so we can play the music this time.
Fine, play the music.
The Rowdies were here, the Rowdies were there, they kicked the wall.